Hello everybody, welcome to Medora Budgets. My name is Monique and I'd like to thank you for liking or commenting on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channels. I don't have more than one channel. It's just it's just channel. I truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you are rocking with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself and Sweets, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future, family, and finances, so the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is Thursday, November the 7th, and we are here to do a weekly budget check-in, expense tracking, budget with me for next week, all of those good things. So I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as I can, but this video might be a little bit longer than the ones that I've been creating lately, but it's all good. All right, so two things I need to address right away, though. These are things that maybe you have concerned yourself with or thought about, maybe not, but we'll go ahead and address them and get them out of the way. The first thing is there's a whirling sound that you might hear in the background of the videos that I've been creating over the last couple of weeks. It's hot. For me. So I have multiple fans on. All of them are pointing in my direction. Most of you all understand and know the reason why. I am well into my 50s, and that should be all that I have to say about that. But if you don't know what I'm talking about or understand, just keep living, as my grandmama would say, and you will get it. You will understand. So that's the whirling sounds that you might hear going on, okay? And then the second thing is this. So I am almost positive, and I can't see for sure, but I think you can. Yeah, you can. Okay, so look. Y'all see this? I knew it was there. And it's a part of my, this is a part of my, it should probably be a part of my next marriage and money segment that I plan on doing, and Sweets is gonna do it with me. Yes, y'all. If y'all are wondering, if you've been watching my videos and you're like, huh, for some reason this looks like it might be a iron print, that's exactly what it is. Let me just tell you, and some of you all may know, men can be very creative, and they will find a way to get everything accomplished that they need to do. Hence, and I'll just leave it at that. But that is the reason why you see an iron print in the middle of my table, because at one point this was an ironing board for for Sweets, and he has damaged this table, but it's okay. It gives it character, and I don't mind. But I was watching one of my videos and I could see it, and I thought to myself, I wonder if anybody ever noticed that before. Okay, we will go ahead and continue. Y'all, I love life. All right, so we are here to do this weekly check-in. So we are going to get started, and probably if you didn't see it before, now that you see it, you can't unsee it. All right, so I'm going to pull out Big Bertha, and we are going to get started on where we are in the budget for November. So this is an overflow month where I am going to get paid on the 1st, on the 15th, and on the 29th. But for the most part, the check for the 29th is really going to cover bills in December. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to track that one necessarily when it comes to looking at my monthly overview. But it's all good. We'll figure it out. All right, so let's go up here. And AHS did come out. That's my home warranty. It was now, I will scoot you in just a little bit. I think you guys need to get in a little bit more so you can see. Okay, so the home warranty, let me just give you a quick update on this one. So I moved home warranty, AHS, I moved Ring, I moved my trash over to my Ally credit card for those amounts to come directly out of there. And then I have increased the amount that I'm giving to my subscriptions sinking fund from $80 to $120 to cover those costs. They told me that AHS was going to come out of my checking account for this November payment, because when I changed everything over online, it was too late. So they told me it was going to come out, you know, like the notification shows It'll still come out of the banking account for this one, and then they'll start pulling it out off of the Ally credit card in December, but that turned out not to be the case. So they did go ahead and take this out on a credit card. So this is cleared, but it cleared by me taking the $49. It was actually $50 from the bills buffer, transferring it over to my high yield savings account in the Ally credit card bucket. And so that's how I took care of that cost. So just as an FYI, took care of mortgage, electric, and my auto as well. We did have our vision board meetup. It was actually not Saturday, it was Sunday. Spotify cleared, Fubo TV. We did review the senior pics. Y'all, they got me. Y'all, they got me. And I might insert just one of her photos here. But honey, they put together a little 2-minute video. I wasn't crying. I didn't have any tears in my eyes, but they got me. I am just grateful that I had this money already saved in her senior binder. That's all I'm going to say about that. But we did do our pick review on this past Sunday, and we did purchase the USB of all of the shots so that I can just use them as I want to. Plus, she is in theater, and her plan is to continue in theater in college and beyond. And some of these shots actually, in my opinion, look like they could be potentially headshots that she can use. So it felt like a good investment. I'm just justifying it. But we did go that route. Property insurance was paid. Nelnet. Yes, that came out. We talked about that. But that was not for $82. That was actually for $45 because I am doing a split bill payment now. So let me write that in there. Paramount came out. Didn't it? It did not. It's not Friday yet. I haven't gone too far. All right, so let's stop here. Get my... I don't want to tell no fib. So let's take away that check mark. All right, so that is where we are because today is the 7th. So we are good up until this. Now, I will tell you that I did go ahead and pay Verizon over here for $135. I did take care of that. It was not $135. It was actually $148, if I'm not mistaken, was the amount taken out for that one. But the reason why I went ahead and covered that was because in my mind, we were going to have to, and I think I'm off a little bit, so we will talk about this because I have AT&T here. This is why you do a monthly calendar. I have AT&T showing here, but I do not have that listed out on my other budget. So I'm sorry, on my other tracker. So I do need to write that in. Anyway, I went ahead and took care of Verizon because I was trying to get rid of as many bills as I could initially up here when I first got paid. I was trying to avoid having any bills come out here so that I could see exactly how much money I had left in my bills buffer so that I could determine what I wanted to move over and use as far as my Transfer Tuesday is concerned. So you guys know I am trying to be a little bit more aggressive with my City card and bringing that amount down. So I thought to myself, look, if I go ahead on the 1st, pay every bill that I have from the bills account, it would be easy for me to tell whether or not I had any additional funds available to go ahead and do a Transfer Tuesday with. But I did mess up because I did not include AT&T. So I do need to go and look at my numbers and see if I'm going to be able to transfer over what I wanted to pay towards debt, or if this bill is going to trip me up a little bit. Trash is listed here for $60 that came out. It was actually $57 for this one, but I have taken care of that one. I forgot to take care of AT&T, so I may try to make some moves on that, take care of that today so that we won't have to worry about that. I am so grateful for Big Bertha because I forgot to mark this down, this AT&T down on my other bill. Okay, I think that is it. All right, so we're going to stick this over to the side. Let's come back over here to the budget and let's see where we are. All right, so for November, I have a November calendar, and this is what I was talking about. See here, I had Disney written down and I got that one. I took care of trash. I wrote it up here because I actually paid it up here on the 1st for that one. So that was the one that was showing here on the 15th. I took care of that. Took care of Verizon. Everything in purple is a subscription, and those come out of the Ally credit card. So all of this same check marks I just made in Big Bertha, I've already made here. Paramount, HP Inc., and Disney, iCloud, and Apple Care are all subscriptions. Those will be coming out in this next week. You will not see them on the budget with me that we're getting ready to do because they come out of the credit card. Just know that I do have those documented, and I am going to track them to make sure that that money comes out, and then I make sure that I pay it back. But what you don't see here on the 13th is AT&T. I forgot all about it. So I'm glad for Big Bertha. This is why for some people they have to do it in more than one place. I know I do, just because I don't trust my brain. Sometimes my brain is working, sometimes it's not, and I forget things. So let me go ahead while I can remember now, and I'm going to go ahead and write that in over here. AT&T. And 91 is going to be the budget on that. Okay, all right. So this is the November calendar that I keep within my budget planner itself, just because Big Bertha is too big for me to carry around. Sometimes I take this in the den with me while I'm watching TV, or take it other places. No spend challenge. I have 2 no spend days, the 4th and the 5th. Yesterday actually for me was a no spend as well. So where are my stickers? And I try not to purchase any stickers. This is from my paper planning days. I'm just using up what I already had. But at some point, I may have to replenish. But that won't be anytime soon. You see all these stickers I got? All right, so the 6th. So that one is a no spend as well. So I've got 3 days in so far in the month of November. And today's the 7th. And I'm already I already got 3 no spend days. So that's pretty good for me. This is to help me curb my spending. The reason why I'm tracking it, so I can pay more towards my city credit card. And the exceptions that I have, if it's a bill, if it's a medical expense, that like an emergency kind of medical expense, or if it is a sinking fund already that I'm pulling from, I do not count those. Everything else I do count. All right, so 3 days down, we are good to go on that. Here is the weekly budget as far as last week is concerned, November 1st through the 7th. Today's the 7th, so this week is going to be over at the end of today. And let's talk about it. So for rollover, I gave myself $80 that rolled over. And I did account for this in some extra debt payments we'll talk about in a moment. Bills account, I had planned $1,400. Now I'm planning, or the actual is $1,375. So I was watching a video from Mistakes Were Made, and she was talking about how she adjusts her account, like the amount of money that her inflow money, if something happens and she brings in a little bit less, or Mr. M brings in a little bit less, then she will adjust this amount. And even if it just happens one time, she would rather than adjust and have her inflow lower, and the amount of money that she budgeted for, she will budget for her bills a little bit higher. Mind Your Money, Tasha does the same thing as well. So I decided to do that also. So I did have something come in, and sometimes it comes in a little bit under, sometimes a little bit over. So usually this is about the average, and I just write that down every time. But I decided that I'm going to make a change, and now we're going to have that at $1,375 instead, because that then accounts for the fluctuation that I see in my paycheck. It accounts for that, and it accounts for that on the lower end. So now I don't have to worry about whether or not it came in close to it, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. This extra $25 buffer just makes sure that this will always be lower than the amount that comes in. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Variable account came in as expected, $850. This $850 is just accounting for what I plan on putting in savings for savings challenges, what I plan on spending as far as my variable expenses are concerned. There is money that comes in a little bit more than this. It's like $9, $10, I think it is overall. But I take that other $60 and that's what I use as my me money. I don't really account for this because I just need to have my me money separate from everything else. But I will show you where I track that going forward, okay? And then Micah gave me his $50. So remember, anything in pink is a problem. Anything in blue is the bomb. I was anticipating $23.80 to work with. Now I'm working with $23.55. That's the reason why it's in pink. I handled the electric bill, AHS, which we just talked about, Nelnet, the $45, because I'm doing a split bill on that. Mortgage, I set aside $250. I paid my auto at $255. I went ahead here you'll notice I went ahead and paid Verizon. Now I marked it in pink, even though I knew it was a bill and I was planning on paying for it. I did not initially plan on paying for it this week. So I did go ahead and mark that off in pink. I paid it, and it was for $148 instead of the $135 like I mentioned before. And then I didn't give, but I made a payment of $25 for Discover. So the Discover credit card that we have is now a joint account, but pretty much that's for Sweets to use. He takes care of that bill altogether. But I left some things in my Walmart cart on the app, and I used that. I put it there so that when I went into Walmart, I could go there and know which aisles things were on, you know, and could get in and out without just going up and down every aisle, because sometimes Walmart is the devil, right? You go in there with a list and $20 and then you're swiping your card for $85. So I did this to help keep me on track, but I left those things in the cart. Usually I delete them. Sweets went in and had to make an order. He saw those things in the cart, and being the loving man that he is, he said, I will go ahead and purchase those things for her. So now we've got double the amount of dog food, double the amount of plastic plates, double everything. And I told him I was going to give him that money back. So I went ahead and made a payment of $25 to the Discover card. And that's what that is for. Again, it's pink is a problem because it wasn't something that I planned. Okay, so let's add that up and see where our totals are for this. So that is 158. Ooh, child, I can't read that. Pink, 45. 250, 255, 148, and 25 is $931. Okay. As far as my sinking funds are concerned, they all came out as expected. Here I did give a little bit more to buffer and a little less to emergency, but it's still, when you add all of this up, it still comes out to 405, and that's why that's in blue, just because it's basic. What I plan is what I actually ended up spending on that. Same for our expenses. Those came out as expected, so that was $240. And for savings, that came out as expected, and it was $350. So income $2355. Total bills is minus $931. Total savings was $350. $240 for expenses. $405 for debt, which isn't debt, it's actually the sinking funds. Okay, so my plan was to have $628 left over. Let's see where we are. $2355 minus $931. $350, $240, $405 equals $429. So that is less than what I anticipated having to roll over. All right, so that was, what was that? What did I say? Just that fast, $429. So my rollover I'm planning for is $429. I'm gonna leave that $91 as the only thing that I need to pay for. As far as the bill is concerned. Then for groceries, I give myself, let me make sure I keep these amounts the same. Yeah, 100 groceries, 40 for gas, 30 for home, 30 for dining, 20 for meds, and 20 for Corinne, and that should be $240. And then I have $60 for my Monday mini, and we have that. I'm not paying on anything dealing with debt. So let's see where we are. $429. Total bills minus $91. Total savings minus $60. Total expenses minus $240. Total debt minus $0. Let me see how that shapes up. $429 minus 91 minus 60 minus 240 equals $38. I'm going to let that go. And you'll see in a minute why. So I'm going to leave that $38 there as potential rollover for this week's budget. Finish with the budget. So here's the first thing that you'll see. I have decided to divvy up all of my expenses, and I am now tracking 4 different expense sheets. Now, this expense sheet came from the printable plans, and the reason why I'm using that is because I want to use it just for my Ally credit card, and it gave me the space over here on the side to include my totals or run my totals all together. So what you see here are all of the Ally credit card expenses that ran for that first week of this particular paycheck cycle. I did have some that came in a little bit later after they cleared on the Ally credit card, and that's why you see some of these have 1031, even though I got paid on 11/1. But the rest of them cover from 11/1 through 11/6. You know, today is the 7th. So anything today, I'll have room here to document if I need to, but I've already moved this money over into my Ally bucket, my Ally credit card payment bucket, from any of the other sinking fund buckets that I have on my Ally high yield savings account. So now one sheet will be dedicated to just tracking any credit card expenses, because I know if I pay for it with a credit card, I gotta either find some funds to pay for it in cash, or I got to pull from online to pay for it, but something has to be done. There's an additional action that I need to take. All right, so the total from October 31st through November 6th that I spent was $1,422.68. And you guys might say that's a whole lot of money. Well, that's because of the senior pick. So you'll notice the senior pick showed $897.68 that I needed to pay for that. But keep in mind, since earlier this year, I've been saving up money in her senior year sinking fund binder that I got from Baddies and Budgets. Senior Picks was one of them, and I had $700 saved up there, and then I had another $200 or $300 saved up for graduation invitations. I pulled $200 from that. That has covered the cost of the picks, and then I just need to put a little bit more money towards getting those invitations made, and I think cap and gown as well. So those are the things that I will cover. So I am not in debt. Again, we had the money to take care of that, and I've already moved that money over. All right, so this is my first sheet. It's the credit card. Second sheet that you'll see is another sheet that I got from the Budget Mom. So this is for November, the expense tracker. Now, normally it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet, but I put it down to, I printed it at 75% or 80%, and that made it in the perfect size for an A5 binder, which is what I did. So I cut off all the sides, put some holes in it, and we're good to go. This is how I'm tracking my bills account. I wanted to have my bills account separate because, again, I'm trying to see where there may be some money available for me to move so that I can continue to pay on this city credit card. When I put in all of my transactions and separated all of those out, you see I'm starting with the colors, and I've got all of this stuff documented here. You'll notice I have $130.37 left, and my plan was to take $30 out of that and use that for my next transfer Tuesday, but I forgot all about AT&T. So alas, I will not be able to do that, because this bills account is where that AT&T needs to come from. So I don't think I'm going to be able to pull anything from bills account right now, but I will be tracking those expenses separately here so that I have, and I know budget for 5 with Stephanie. I think Stephanie's YouTube channel, I think she does this where she documents down every particular step this way and comes up with the ending balance for each of the accounts. So I'm doing that for my bills account. I also have one for my everyday expenses. My everyday expenses are handled through an Ally checking account, and this is where I have actually the buckets for groceries, gas, home, meds, and dining listed there. So as I swipe my card, so you'll see here, I've got 2 expenses for Walmart. Yes, I am one of those individuals and that goes to Walmart, separates my stuff out. I swipe the card at Walmart for my home expenses. That's paper towel, toilet tissues, those types of things. It was $34.75, and then I stayed right there at the machine and I swiped again for $11.92 for some grocery items. So I do separate those out, but all of that came directly out of that Ally checking account. It's already been accounted for. Don't have to pull any money to take care of those. And once I did all of those expenses, it came in now that I have $104.80 left at this point. So this is the third place that I am tracking expenses. So I'm tracking credit cards separately so that I can pull that money when I need to. I'm tracking my bills account separately so I can see where I may have some extra to pull to pay on my credit card debt. I'm tracking my everyday expenses separately for the same reason, whether or not I can pull any money from these, or whether or not I need to change up my categories and start to shift around where that money is supposed to be. And then the last is how I track my me money, again for the reason of where do I have some extra that I can pull and put towards my credit card debt. On the last Transfer Tuesday, I was able to find some money in bills account and some money in my me money, put that together, and it was an $80 payment I was able to make. It's looking a little tough for the home team today because I've only got $27.34 left right now. I don't want to touch my bills account. So it may just be a $25 or $30 payment that we might make out of my variable account. We shall see. There will be a Transfer Tuesday. Trust and believe. It's just I'm not sure how much that is going to be. So I did want to cover that. I know that was a lot. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. Thanks everybody for your time and hanging in there with me. You guys have a good one.